Welcome to Ribbon. This is C# tutorial, and we're working with SoloLearn, and we're finishing off assignment and increment operators. This is section 1, and we're finishing where we left off. And we left off at increment operator. Okay, so go to the 1, 2, 3, the third arrow sign. Alright. So I'm going to read this out to you. Increment operators. Alright, increment operators are very easy to understand once you start practicing them. Okay. And this is the increment operator is used to increase an integer's value by 1, and it's commonly used in C# operators. So this is our increment operator, x plus plus, and it's the equivalent of doing x is equal to x plus 1. So every time you see plus plus, just know it's incrementing plus 1. Okay, if this was a decrement, it will be two double subtraction signs, two minus signs, but this one's adding 1. Okay, and here is our example below, right? And it's saying integer x is equal to 10, right? So x plus plus is basically, if you go to Visual Studio and you type in x plus plus, well, we know that it's the equivalent of doing x equals x plus 1. Okay, now if you break it down a little further, it's going to be x is equal to 10 plus 1, because we already know that our variable x has a value of 10, and that's why the 10 is down there. And we already know that this increment operator is adding 1 to it. So it's saying variable x 10 plus 1. So 10 plus 1 is 11. Alright. Hope that makes sense. And as you can see down here, it tells you the output is 11. So just take that to note. Read the yellow highlighted area. It says the increment operator is used to increase an integer's value by 1. Okay, so let's work on to the next question, right? And it says, what is the output of this code? So we have integer x equals 6. What do you think this is going to be? And the increment operator. Okay, so I'm going to stop and pause the video and come back and explain it. Okay, now that you've done this, you should get 7, right? Because it's saying integer x is equal to 6, and it's using the increment operator, the plus plus. And like I said before, that's the equivalent of x equals x plus 1 and x equals 6 plus 1, right? That is what it's going to be. It's going to do this for the operator, and then it's going to do that. Now you don't have to type this in. This is just showing you, breaking it down, explaining how it's done. So if you go into debug, you should get 7, right? So for the answer, type in 7. That's correct. Okay, now we're working on prefix and postfix. Okay, so prefix is before, pre, and post is after. So knowing the difference between pre and post is important. Pre, before, post, after. So prefix is incrementing 1 first. There's no value here but 1. Okay, post has a variable of x, and that x could be equal to anything or it could be equal to nothing, but it will be x first. Okay, so if you had integer x equals 3, it will be 3. It will be x equals 3 plus 1. Okay, so it says prefix increments the value and then proceeds with the expression. Okay, and this is post evaluates the expression first, right here, then performs the increment. And here's the example. So we have x equals 3, and then it's going to work its way this way. And it says integer y equals plus x. So basically, it's going to add 1 to x. So this would be 4, and this would also be 4. Okay, I hope that makes sense. This is prefix because we're adding first, and then we're printing the value for that. Now, that's kind of important to understand, okay? So just note that it's going to add first. It's going to say 1 plus 3 is equal to x, which is 4, and it's going to store 4 here. Well, it's not going to store 4 there. It's going to be, x is going to be 4 after that. Now, postfix would be the same thing, but the plus signs are after. And since the expression is after the value of x, well, the value of y would be 3. It wouldn't change because it's doing this first, then it's adding. Okay, so it's a huge difference. And it says down here in the highlighted yellow area, it says the prefix example increments the value of x and then assigns it to y. Okay, so increments the value of x, and then it assigns it to y. And the postfix example assigns the value of x to y and then increments. Right, so the post assigns the value of x first to y. So post, it's assigning x to y, which will be 3, and then it increments x, and then it adds 1. Okay, I hope that makes sense. All right, let's move on to the next question. And it says, what is the difference between plus plus x and x plus plus? I'm going to stop and pause the video. And it says select all that apply. Okay, now that you've got it, you should go through these and just check off the ones that apply. So plus plus x and x plus plus. So plus plus x increments x's value before using it. We know that. That's right. And it's saying plus plus x uses x's value before incrementing it. No, that's not right, because it's incrementing first before using a value. And we know x plus plus increments x value before using it. No. And it says uses the value, then increments. And that's right, because it's using x, then it's adding. Okay. Decrement is the same thing. It's subtracting. So instead of adding, you just subtract. So it's just like what we did before, but it's subtracting. And you have prefix, it's before, and then you have postfix, which is after. In the highlighted area, it says decrement operator works in much the same way as an increment operator. So let's go to the next question. And it says filling the missing operator to decrease the value x by 1. I'm going to stop and pause the video. So we're going to use the decrease, and we just wanted to decrease it by 1. So we want to do the double minus sign. Click next. All right. And I hope that's very easy to understand. Okay. Next, we're working on our Modulus 1.